Thank you for joining us for this month's Academy Now webinar. We are going to be talking about KBIS, the kitchen industry trade show that I think we're all familiar with. We had a few of our employees head down there along with joining some of our dealers to take a look at the trade show, and we're going to be discussing the insights that we're seeing, what are the trends coming up, any interesting new materials or cabinet features that we're seeing coming out of the industry show this year. I'm joined by Bev, one of our dealer development specialists, Rob, our director of sales, and Candice, our NKBA master designer, certified with, sorry, correct me if I'm wrong, what is your title again?
Certified Master Kitchen and Bath Designer.
Certified Master Kitchen and Bath Designer. Well, we're certainly glad to have you here. I guess I'll start with Rob. It was your first year attending this industry show. What are some of your initial thoughts on the trade show?
Yeah, thank you, Sam. So this was my first time. I've only been with Decor for a few months. And I really went there, I guess, with a mission to achieve two things. One, to learn about the industry, see what trends are out there, learn about, our competition, some of our suppliers. And secondly, also to network with some of the dealers that we work with, to celebrate the partnerships we have, and we put on a bit of an off-site event for them. For my first show, the first thing I learned very quickly is that Orlando traffic is absolutely nuts.
Yeah.
We definitely spend more time sitting in the car than we would have liked. But the trade show was. It was full. It was busy. It was definitely bigger in scale than I would have anticipated. And yeah, seeing what was there, we definitely found that there was a higher number of import cabinet makers than I would have anticipated. And definitely, being surrounded by the Decor product and the quality of it, there was definitely. I was proud to be selling this brand because it stood up well against many of especially the import brands that we saw.
That's one of the things that I always find going. We feel very spoiled when we come back after touching and feeling some of those other things. We are very proud and lucky with the product that we have to offer our clients.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I can third that opinion as well, that our cabinets definitely do stand out quality-wise. Having toured the show last year for my first time, going through the different North American cabinet brands, kind of comparing that to some of the import products. It was really interesting to see in person and touch and feel the product. It's one thing to, learn about it in theory and be familiar with our product, but being able to compare them all side by side is definitely a benefit of attending the show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've definitely found that to be a benefit. Each time that we try to take a new designer down that's on our team and really expose them to the industry and what they have as a selling feature to their product versus some of the other things on the market.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. When I attended, I noticed there was a lot of reeded textures, mixed materials, curves. Was that continued in this show as well as some of the standout trends?
I definitely did see a lot of curves, specifically on vanities. I noticed a lot that had really softened edges, some that had curved doors that followed, some where the reeds followed. So definitely still seeing a lot of those influences in the cabinetry. When it came to the kitchen cabinetry, still a lot of slim shaker. So walking around, still seeing a lot of the slim shaker, but there was a lot of fun colors as well. I remember there was a pink kitchen, there was a purple kitchen, there was a blood red bench that had viola marble handles on it. So a lot of really fun was being had as well.
I like that. I feel like last year, trying to think back, I think I saw there wasn't as many like fun colors. There was a lot more of those neutral, mid-range toned woods. Bev, were there any standout trends or materials, cabinet innovations that you saw at the show this year?
Going on from what Candice said and Rob, the one thing that I always feel is that it's really important for us to really give our people a pat on the back for the great quality that they do. Our dovetailed drawer boxes, I think, are just so amazing. So to see that is always great. And as Candice touched on, the vanities, there is a lot of design uniqueness in vanities. People seem to take more of a risk with them, and we see that too in orders coming through with our designers. And then as far as color, it was nice to see some more fun colors in there and people taking a risk with color and design. And I always think that's fun. I always try to encourage everyone to use a bit more color in their projects.
I think giving our people a pat on the back is really great to recognize, especially considering like being a mid-range cabinet company, and where I think where we sit in the market as far as what you get for the price and the quality that's received.
I think with a semi-custom line, we sort of can do a lot of custom items, and sometimes we sell ourselves short with that semi word where we really can do a lot of customs. Can we do everything on the face of the planet? Probably not, but we can do a lot, and that really sets us apart, and it is one thing that our dealers really appreciate from us.
Yeah, as you know, we often like to push the envelope in some of the projects that we do, so it was always good to get down there and see those new ideas and see what might be coming across your desk soon.
It's just going to prepare everyone for what 239 is going to be doing.
Just set the stage, just be prepared.
Was there any like products or specific cabinet trends that you saw, Rob?
Yeah, again, being newer to the industry, I don't know that I can speak to trends a lot. But it would definitely, as we looked at the different booths and the product that they're trying to sell, I tried to pay attention to what they're promoting as the buying experience, and I thought there was some that did things fairly well, whether it's closets or hoods, right? That we can learn something from. We have a lot of our partners, our dealers, design beautiful closets, for example. And so we're building them now and selling them, and there's some great examples of us doing that. But certainly something I walked away with is how can we refine that buying experience to make it more accessible to a broader group of buyers. And yeah, closets and hoods were the examples where I thought there was some folks that did it really well, and we can maybe take something and learn from it and innovate with our own product line.
And with the buying experience, do you mean like how the offering is positioned, or more so like focusing in on the product itself?
I think both. I think both. Certainly presenting the product in a way that takes some of the complexity out of the design, but still make a beautiful closet, for example, really accessible, and not make it a very intensive design process. So make it its own user experience rather than designing a kitchen cabinet that you now put into a closet. Candace, I'm doing a poor way. Please rescue me.
Maybe like
I'm not doing
talking
a good job
about
of describing it. But.
Like component design, where like you have the different components that go into the closet or into the cabinetry.
What stood out for me when I was walking through when it came to a lot of the closets, so for the last few years, it's always been something that we would do as part of a project and add a closet. But they're becoming more and more feature spaces. And as much as we can put those together with integrated lighting and aluminum frame glass doors and panels, really getting to get hands-on with a lot of the storage accessories is what we found really exciting. So the different shoe racks and spinning systems and pull downs. So a lot of those things that we don't have access to play with every day and see how they're going to work in a real life situation. So that's really the value add that we found walking through and seeing how we can take inspiration from that and elevate our closet design, because it is a newer category for the homes that we do.
That's perfect. Yeah.
I also think when you talk about closets, one of the things that I know I've had dealers struggle with is the drawer depth and things like that in closets, because it is not a normal kitchen depth. And so working with that and seeing that, it's kind of a good way to sort of help explain that to our designers that are doing closets for the first time. Some have done quite a few, but one of the sweet spots we're finding is that with a 16.5-inch depth with 16-inch or a half-inch reveal, that 16 inches gets a great drawer depth and things like that. So working with some of our designers, helping them understand what's a good depth to get the right depth in for that closet drawer. Yeah. So that's kind of was good to see too.
Yeah, because it is a whole different design thought process on hanging heights and long hanging and short hanging and things that kitchen designers don't do every day.
Yes.
So getting to see more real life examples of practical installations is very helpful.
And making sure, I know 2 years ago we saw a closet and the hangers were hanging, there was enough width, so the hangers were at an angle, and just making sure that, like you said, Candace, that depth is the right depth for it, and making sure people help them to understand that is really beneficial for us.
Mm-hmm. Cabinetry can certainly elevate any area in the home. So I think it's, as closets gain more popularity, as you were saying, as their own standalone space, it's important to see that in person and, yeah, touch and feel and experience the way the closet functions. It's definitely different than just seeing it on a rendering, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
and that's what we're finding more and more as the cabinetry is expanding outside of those traditional areas. When you're doing a home, you're doing 20 different spaces in that house. So we really had the opportunity to see mudrooms and bars and bedrooms and vanities. So there's so much inspiration just outside of the traditional kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
And Rob discovered a mudroom locker system that he really liked.
Yes, yes. Having kids myself, I really appreciate the opportunity to not have a mudroom closet where everything is exposed. And we saw a really great design that actually had the cubbies integrated into the mudroom closet itself.
Yeah, with doors.
With doors, yeah. There was doors integrated into it with reader panels, and it looked really beautiful. And yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, with the different cabinet lines that Decor offers, with Decor, the Telora and Sorrento brands, and then Zona Vita, I think there really is a great opportunity for whole home cabinetry, whether you're blending the lines together or you're choosing one for the whole home. There's definitely options there for applications for kitchen, vanities, mudrooms, closets.
And that's definitely what we see. A lot of the home projects that we do, some are completely Zona Vita, some are Telora with Zona Vita in secondary areas, but less and less are you seeing a complete Decor project where it's going into the mud rooms and laundry rooms and that as well, when you have such great Zona Vita offerings for those areas too.
So we talked a little bit about colors we saw, different applications for cabinetry. Was there any changes in layouts? I know that another trend that was kind of emerging was using cabinetry as furniture pieces. Were there any different trends that you saw kind of emerge this year?
A lot of paneled appliances. So there was a lot of kind of, find the fridge in the booth. A lot of the nicest cabinetry installations weren't even in cabinet manufacturers' booths. So the countertop manufacturers, the appliance brands, they often had some of the most elaborate and inspiring cabinet displays as the backdrop for their products.
Yeah, integrated appliances, I think, are becoming more and more popular as that quiet luxury trend is coming in. It's,
for sure.
Yeah, less ornamentation, but more streamlined in appearance, for sure. I think it's one thing as designers and industry professionals to look at the trade show and see what we're excited about and what's pushing the envelope. But just taking a step back and thinking about the homeowner and like the clients that you'll serve and that our designers will serve, what do we think? What trends do you think are going to be most applicable or going into clients' homes coming up in the next year?
I really think that a lot of the inspiration coming out of the stone side of the show, you're going to see a lot of introduction of new products. A lot of the brands are removing silica from their materials, so focusing on making really eco-friendly and safe to work with products, as well as a big push into porcelain. So in our business in Winnipeg, we're seeing a lot of porcelain countertops that we put in the last few years. We've just put in a new display that features porcelain, and we had it at our own trade show in Winnipeg, and it was the talk of the show. Everybody came and asked about the countertop. So that's
Oh.
really something that the homeowners are going to start to be hearing more about and seeing, and we're going to be being asked for.
And that's from a sustainability and like ease of use perspective.
Yeah.
How does it compare to other options like cost-wise?
Cost-wise is very similar these days. With a porcelain countertop, it's designed to have a thinner look, so at about a 1/2 inch thick to a 3/4 inch thick. So it's a little bit more contemporary, streamlined.
Sleek.
Yeah. But the big benefit is it's the only material on the market that is going to be completely heat-proof. So the display we put in actually has an integrated cooktop that mounts underneath the porcelain, and it induction heats through. And that's something that you saw in a lot of booths as well, a lot of cooking demonstrations with completely hidden appliance.
Yeah, going back to those integrated and sleek hidden designs. We did a webinar, I think at the beginning of the year, talking about the NKBA trend report that came out. And again, the trends that we're seeing coming is that quiet luxury, hidden, sleek. We're not showing our, I guess, luxury or high-end appeal through ornamentation, but rather ease of use and functionality. And
Yeah, the designs are often very restrained with not a lot of moldings, some glass, not a lot of glass, but very high-end finishes, quality upgrades like dovetail construction, paneled appliances, some of these things that just make a nice, quiet, and soft backdrop in the house. Everything is where you need it. Everything is going to last for years, but it's not screaming.
it's not overstated.
I am going to brag about Candace's booth at the Winnipeg show. It was absolutely gorgeous, and 239 won best booth at that show.
Oh,
So we'll add it to Candace's long list of awards this year. But it really did show off that sort of quiet luxury, and it's stunning, and it's in the showroom at 239. So
Yes.
there'll be pictures before too long.
If anybody's in town for a tour, you'll be sure to stop by.
And while we're highlighting achievements, I'll also point out that Candace and 239 actually won the most innovative showroom design for showroom under 2,500 square feet at KBIS, and she was recognized at the award show. So
Oh,
congratulations.
that's so exciting. Congrats.
So I started off my week with the Elite Design Awards as part of the NKBA kickoff before the show opened on Tuesday. So it was a very exciting week.
Oh, that is exciting. And you'd mentioned before that you were taking some classes as well. So
Yes.
it's nice that the show offers all these different things for designers so you really get the most out of the experience.
Yeah, so they offer a few different options for education. So that's the other side of it. When myself and my designers go, not only do we spend time walking the show, we're trying to balance it as much as possible. There's so much to see. But we also attend the Voices from the Industry conference. So we attend sessions with speakers from all different areas of the industry. You can focus on marketing or design or business management. There's lots of different areas that you can pop in and out and get some
Professional development and
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's a lot of classes on AI this year. So
course.
how to integrate that into design or integrate that into your sales process.
there's probably a lot of different areas in the workflow that you can kind of implement that to speed things up a little bit or kind of aid your process.
Exactly. So it's a tough balance to feel like you've seen enough and then also take advantage of the education.
Yeah, there's certainly no shortage of educational and professional development opportunities that are not only at the show, but within the Decor Academy as well, different webinars and online courses. It's definitely important to keep your skills up and keep learning. I think that's something I've enjoyed in my profession, and I'm sure that if the designers are watching this, then they're gonna want to take advantage of that as well.
Absolutely.
Just thinking back, we were talking about different trends and how homeowners will implement some of these like up and coming concepts, especially with quiet luxury. Bev, I wanted to ask, from your experience with your dealers, what cabinet products do you think would be recommended for if a designer wanted to elevate their kitchen for a homeowner to kind of experience some of that quiet luxury? What are some of Decor's offerings for that?
Well, the sky is the limit on that end. Our CAD team probably loves me for saying that, but we can draw almost anything for you or create what the homeowner. And so I think the big thing is focusing on what really works for the homeowner. So what do they use their kitchen for? Are they a cook or a chef, or do they like to bake? And then gearing that kitchen to have, if it's someone who loves to bake, having a great baking center with everything within sort of arm's reach, and maybe even lowering the counter if you're rolling a lot of dough in that section. So I think that there's a lot of things that they can do along that line. And then for cooking, the drawers, the spice pullouts, your knife holders, utensils, and even how your cutlery, so that it's all organized and smooth. And then, of course, one of my favorite things is the lighting. That
100%,
really
yes.
makes a kitchen just give it the ambience that everybody loves.
And that's part of the benefit, like, of having semi-custom cabinets. You can have a great foundation, and then add one or two of those more luxury features, like add a bit of highlighting with some lighting, or add in a appliance garage, depending on what the client needs, right?
Yes, yeah, I mean, and there's lots of different options for people, no matter how they want to sort of showcase what they do, but it gives people that opportunity to have that kitchen that they really love and that works for them. And that's them. As someone myself who likes to cook and has spent a lot of time, it makes a big deal for you when you're in a kitchen that's great to work in.
One of the benefits also of attending KBIS is getting to attend some of our partners' booth and some of the different components that we integrate into our cabinetry, and of course seeing the other options there are in the industry. Rob, can you speak a little bit to some of the partners we have, or what you saw at the show?
Yeah, that's definitely one of the big benefits, right? And so whether it's lighting or cabinet hardware or handles, it's definitely clearly evident that we continue to work with some of the best partners in the industry, and that was evident by comparing products, and also by the number of people that attend these booths, etc. So that's something, again, representing the Decor brand at the show, was something that I was really encouraged by, that we continue to work with the market leaders when it comes to cabinet hardware, and our customers have the benefit of accessing their product by partnering with us.
I felt like when I attended the show, I was in a group of a few of people from Decor, and just walking up to different partners' booths, it really just seemed like they were meeting like distant friends. Like, they're like, oh, hey, and like the relationships there are definitely like long held relationships, and it's fun to see everyone kind of come together. And
that's absolutely true. I mean, and we try and stay away from the language of customers and suppliers, and we use partners both up and down the supply chain. So whether you're a dealer, you're really a partner of ours, and that the same goes for those that provide components to hardware. They are partners of ours. We have deep, long-standing, rich relationships with them, and we celebrate that. And
yeah, I definitely think that's a benefit of working with Decor. This year we had the opportunity of changing the way we host our dealers for the trade show. Usually we love to have a beautiful dinner, or have a chance to talk to them in some way, but this year we changed it up a little bit. Do you want to talk a little bit about how we, maybe Bev is our hostess that we have here. How did we change up the way we showed up for our dealers?
Well, this year what we did is we rented Airbnb, and so we wanted to have people in, and sometimes after a long day of the show and you're walking around, it's just nice to feel like you're at home and comfortable rather than a restaurant. But we tried to give them that great food experience as well, and it was just nice to be able to spend time and people to feel relaxed. And nothing is better than sitting at the table having dinner with the designers and dealers that are willing to give up their evening to spend with us. So it's always really special, and we really enjoyed it. We did a Brazilian barbecue. We had tons of appetizers and just a great evening together. We did charcuterie boards and all sorts of things like that just made it casual and relaxed, and the time spent was really special. And Our dealers, I think, really enjoyed it. We got some beautiful thank you notes afterwards.
Aw.
So, and it's just about the time. It wasn't that it was a Michelin star dinner or anything like that, but it's just the time we could spend together.
Even though it was close.
Shout out to Marcos on the grill.
Yeah. Marcos is our Brazilian chef, and Bev obviously put a lot of effort. So thank you, Bev, for putting the time in. I think when we're trying to come up with, what do we want to do for our dealers, we kind of tried to. Our slogan is undeniably different, and we thought, how can we celebrate our partnership that's perhaps a little, less traditional, but still kind of core to who we are. So we wanted that family setting, and I think my only regret about it is that I wish we would have had, more evenings and greater opportunity to bring more of our dealers in, and maybe this is something we can build on future years. But we definitely, like Bev said already, it was a great way to celebrate the partnerships we have with our dealers.
Thinking about how we're a semi-custom cabinet manufacturer that also does quite a bit of custom work, just curious to see how much of the show was custom elements or that seemed a little bit more like standard elements. What did that look like?
We saw a lot of the things that we initially sometimes discover on our Customs by Decor section of the DSS program. If you haven't had a chance to go through there's a lot of fun things, and really it's a collection of special items that people across the dealer network have created, and they've been put together in one place so everybody can enjoy them. There's a few things that I had seen walking through, even ones that we had put in our own showroom in the last year. A lot of the curved elements on end panels, so creating curved columns for really kind of pill-shaped islands or vanities is becoming very popular.
Yeah.
You can find some drawings on there to help you in that process. There was a cabinet that I opened up that had beautiful integrated strip lighting up the sides, and it had a wood shelf with a glass insert in the center. And I just put that in the showroom in the last year because I found it on Customs by Decor.
Oh, that's exciting. So you can log on and just see all of the different catalog of previously done custom elements.
Yeah.
Then what's the benefit of that, Bev, of having the CAD drawing already completed?
Well, it's really nice because the designer can go in and find a design that she likes or he likes, and they can take a look at it, they can like it, they can save it to their favorites, and there's a link to send it right to the CSR so they can get an updated quote on it, and they can say, or change the sizing, and however they'd like to change the sizing of it.
It's really that jumping off point that
Exactly.
you had no idea that Decor has done this before. And instead of having to start from scratch, it's really that place to find, oh, they have done this, and then make it your own.
And it's nice because we've taken that site now and we've tried to put all the hoods together and similar items, which, because we do so many different things, it's hard to sort of, they're very loosely categorized, but that is a first start to help look
when
for
everybody
it.
comes back from the show and they're so inspired with what they see, this is where those trends and that everybody's going to create over the next year are going to end up.
Yeah.
So a lot of the customs that you're going to start to find in there are probably from people that attended the show and got inspired.
And that's another thing too with our CSR team, because sometimes a certain CSR might not have seen that, but with the network, I see emails come around all the time asking, do you have this item? And then someone's like, oh yes, and can send a picture. So that is very helpful too, because we do so many things.
Yeah. So it's like we have our catalog and then we have our custom catalog and then there's we can further customize on top of that. So it really is kind of sky's the limit for what you can dream up of.
Yes, we even did one the other day. I was in Illinois and I phoned Candace and said, the Murphy Bed catalog, can you send that to me? And so she did, and we passed it on. So that sharing is out there full force.
Exactly.
And be another benefit of being part of our network is you not only get, some of the help and support from our own team, but all these other designers who have brilliant ideas, and we upload those to Customs by Decor, and you can really benefit from that shared knowledge base. We're going to try something new for this webinar. I'm going to try and do some rapid fire questions, and we're going to see how this goes and what comes to the top of your mind. So favorite cabinet color you saw?
Bright pink.
Bright pink?
Yeah.
Do you have one?
Oh boy.
It's okay, you can say white.
Oh, white.
Okay.
For me, my favorite cabinet color right now is malted milk. I love the malted milk that we do. So I'm with Candace on that pink side of the fence.
There you go.
But I actually, Briar, I like the rich stains is really, we're seeing that come up more and I love that.
Awesome. Okay. Favorite glass application?
There was a beautiful pastel purple installation, and it had clear glass with kind of a diamond pattern, and it had little amethysts in each point. It was gorgeous.
That is beautiful.
I saw a glass cabinet door that had a little golden square trimmer on the edge, and I thought that was a really nice touch, and it was displayed really nicely in the kitchen.
What about you, Bev?
That's probably the one I was thinking of as well, with the trim. Looked nice too. I don't know if I saw Candace's.
I'll show you a picture.
Okay.
I remember at last year's show seeing a lot of really beautiful backsplashes. Do you have one that stands out?
There was some Calcutta viola tiles that I had seen that were etched in fluted patterns, and they were beautiful.
That's stunning.
I dare not try and expand on what Candace said. She's an expert when it comes to backsplashes, so I trust that was the cream of the crop.
Okay.
For me, it was a bathroom display by a stone company in Eastern Canada, and they had this gorgeous display of cylinders and blocks, and they had sort of this long hanging curved wall, and it was absolutely stunning, and then a curved shower behind. It was gorgeous. I loved that one. So that was my favorite.
Awesome. Okay, I'm going to do one more rapid fire question. Let's do favorite, like, special.
To my son, it was a Lamborghini branded bathroom vanity.
Oh, wow.
And this is not a product announcement by Decor, so and you're not going to find it on a custom anytime soon, but it was one that stood out.
I think for me, a vanity that sort of integrates the blow dryer and all that stuff, so it's not on the counter
That's
and
a dream.
in there, that is the best thing in the world. So that was my favorite.
Well, we certainly sounds like you guys saw a lot of really innovative cabinet solutions, some really beautiful cabinets, and definitely got some ideas that we can pass along to our design team and our design network. Thank you guys so much for joining. If you have any questions, don't forget to leave them in the chat, and we will answer them there or try and reach out and get back to you. Don't forget to check out all the other Academy resources on Academy Online and join us for next month's webinar.